Welcome back to the Crypto World channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin just hit oversold in the immediate short term and is experiencing a short-term bounce from oversold levels, but we're now testing a critical level on the price chart, and if we break this level, we could be targeting much lower prices, which I'll talk about in just a moment, alongside Ethereum still playing out this major warning signal, while the price of XRP is now testing a crucial area on the price chart. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, just before we take a look at the Bitcoin and crypto charts today, taking a look at some Bitcoin news today, because Michael Saylor has just announced that Strategy has bought more Bitcoin. So they've now just bought another 245 Bitcoin for around 26 million US dollars at an average price of around 105,000. So they basically bought just before the latest dump. But obviously, this tells us that Saylor and Strategy are continuing to accumulate Bitcoin no matter what direction the price is going. So whether Bitcoin is pumping or dumping, it doesn't really matter. Obviously, Michael Saylor and Strategy have a long-term strategy, a long-term outlook for their Bitcoin position. Obviously, they're not just looking for a little short-term profit. Otherwise, they already would have sold by now. And so just keep this in mind. Of course, from time to time in the shorter term, in the mid-term, we can see pumps and dumps along the way and weakness in the short term. But for now, of course, with Saylor continuing to buy Bitcoin over the super long term, when we're talking about many years from now, this is very bullish for the price of Bitcoin, as there's less and less Bitcoin to go around. It basically increases Bitcoin scarcity because there's less liquid Bitcoin in the market, less Bitcoin available to buy, with large players like this buying up a lot of the Bitcoin. But with that being said, taking a look at the Bitcoin price charts today, here on the weekly time frame, the super trend indicator is still sitting in the green, indicating a larger bull market. But obviously, during these larger bull markets, we can see periods where we have a lot of weakness in the shorter term and larger corrections along the way during the bull market. So just keep that in mind. And of course, if we're taking a look at this weekly Bitcoin chart, the weekly Bitcoin MACD is still showing declining bullish momentum. And so obviously, this means that we're still showing signs of weakness in the shorter term, which means obviously we should not be expecting significant bullish momentum anytime soon, as I've been saying basically every day for a month now on the channel. And if we're taking a look at this weekly Bitcoin chart, obviously we're still seeing a massive bearish divergence with higher highs in the price and lower highs in the RSI. So this is another warning signal on the larger timeframes, pointing towards weakness or possibly more of a pullback in the next few weeks or possibly months. But remember, this does not necessarily mean a new bear market is about to start. For example, we can see decent slowdowns and pullbacks once again during a bull market. So keep that in mind. But at least for the next few weeks or possibly months, I do expect a continued slowdown for the price or possible correction. In other words, just weakness and not much bullish momentum over the next few weeks or months. And if we're taking a look at this 3-day Bitcoin price chart, obviously we've already confirmed a bearish crossover in the 3-day Bitcoin MACD, as I've been saying every day for the last 1 week, give or take. So once again, this is another warning signal telling us that we're starting to flip more bearish, at least in the short to mid-term here for, once again, the next few weeks or possibly months. And if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin price chart, for now, the price of Bitcoin is trying to just hold on to this area of support, still sitting in between 101,000 to 102,000. But obviously, over the last 1 day, we did see a large candle wick towards the downside. So, of course, we are struggling to hold on to this area now. And of course, we've already pretty much tested the next major area of support in between roughly 96 to 97,000, or just above 97,000 is really where that next support is starting. But what we now have on the daily time frame is a confirmed lower high in the price, and also now confirmed lower lows in the price. So we have now seen a change in the price structure from this previous bullish trend to potentially now more of a bearish trend beginning to form. And now these Fibonacci levels here are based on this previous Fibonacci retracement from this previous swing high to this swing low, giving us the Fibonacci levels of resistance to focus on as we're heading towards the upside. But if we're looking at the retracement from the swing low to this swing high, looking at the Fibonacci levels of support to focus on now that we are pulling back, of course, we do have significant support once again at around 97 to 98,000 based on this 38.2% Fibonacci level of support. And just over the last 1 to 2 days, obviously, we have seen a candle wick to almost exactly 98,000. And so far, we are finding support there. So once again, that is the next support to focus on at roughly 97 to 98,000. But if we break that level, that's the second most important Fibonacci level in the Fibonacci retracement tool. The most important Fibonacci level is, of course, the golden pocket, which is really an area that's sitting in between around 86 77,500 to 88,500. So roughly around 88,000 as the next significant area of support. But between around 98,000 and 88,000, we also have this retracement level, the 50% retracement level, acting as strong support at around 93,000 approximately. And as for resistance, we have this previous level of support right here flipping into new resistance at approximately 103,000, give or take. So if we see a little bit more of a short-term bounce, expect some resistance at around 103,000. And once again, those are the key levels of support to focus on, and the next price targets to the downside if we first break below these first support levels here. And if we're zooming further into the short term, taking a look at the 6-hour time frame, obviously the price, at least in the shorter term on the smaller time frames, is already trending in the bearish direction. As I've said recently here on the channel, of course, in the short term, we're already forming lower highs, lower lows, breaking below support levels, flipping previous support into new resistance time and time again, which is all bearish price structure. So at least for now, in the immediate short term, of course, the trend and the momentum is more bearish than it is bullish. But of course, during this bearish move here, we can see little bounces in the short term here and there, like bouncing from support levels or bouncing from oversold signals, which is exactly what we've just started to see over the last one day here in the short term. We hit oversold in the smaller time frames in the RSI. So here on the 6-hour time frame, we just hit oversold, and the last time this happened was around the 5th of June. And obviously, last time we did see a decent bounce from those oversold territories, but with that being said, we don't always see a major bullish reaction like this. Sometimes we just see a little bit of a short-term bounce to reset the RSI, which can give us more room towards the downside later on. So keep that in mind. At least for now, we've not confirmed any bullish reversal here. Overall, we're still showing signs of weakness, especially on these larger timeframes once again. But just be aware of the fact that, of course, the price does not move in a perfect straight line. It's very normal to see these little moves towards the upside during a bearish movement. And that's exactly what we're seeing. We're just seeing a slight little bounce, a bit of a break from the bearish price action, but overall, we're still looking more bearish than we are bullish, especially when it comes to the momentum in the market. And of course, I would expect resistance at these previous support levels here flipping into new resistance. So first of all, around, once again, 103 to 104,000, give or take, and also at around 106 to 107,000 as the next key areas of resistance to focus on if we were to see a little bit more of a bounce here. And if we're taking a look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, we can see that obviously over the last one day, we continued a little bit more of a pullback, taking out a small amount of liquidity to the downside. But at least for now, we don't really have any significant levels of liquidity that's relatively close to the price of Bitcoin here. So we do have a small amount building at around 98,000 and a small amount at around 106,500 and a decent amount still at around 111,000. But obviously between the current price of Bitcoin and that 110k to 111k area, of course, we have a lot of resistance along the way where the price would likely reject from or struggle at. So keep in mind, just because we have that liquidity at close to all-time highs, it's not likely that we're going to go straight back towards all-time highs just based on this reason alone. And so as always, we need to focus on all of this information to figure out what is most likely going to happen for the price of Bitcoin. And overall, this is telling us that yes, we can see a little bit of a relief maybe in the immediate short term bouncing from oversold, but overall we're still looking more bearish than we are bullish when it comes to the momentum and of course showing signs of weakness. And with all of that being said, giving you a quick update on my Bitcoin trading strategy, because of course over the last one day that stop loss has now been hit. So I'm now completely out of the Bitcoin long position, obviously in some decent profits here. As you can see, just refreshing my 2-bit account, you can see I'm not currently in a trade right now. And looking at my position history, you can see currently this trade is completely closed. The long position, the swing trade, is now closed in a profit of over 11,000 USDT with this one small trade. But profit aside, if we're looking at the actual percent return from start to finish of this trade right here, it was more than a 100% return. So essentially doubling whatever money I decided to put in. So for example, if you followed this trade on this same leverage, it wasn't even that massive leverage, it was only a 10x leverage long position. If you followed this trade, no matter what you put in, you would have more than doubled your money. So if you put in just $1,000, you would have turned that into $2,000. If you put in $100,000, you would have turned that into $200,000 in just around a month, give or take. And so once again, that is the update on this trading strategy. It's now completed in profits once again. And of course, I will let you know here on the channel very transparently as soon as I take my next trading opportunity. So definitely make sure you're subscribed to this channel with notifications turned on so that you don't miss out on any of these important update videos where I do share these trading strategies and how to easily profit in the market no matter what the price is doing. And of course, if you want to get set up ready to go to take these trading opportunities, you have to be set up ready to go on a crypto exchange. exchange. And personally, I took this trade right here over on 2bit. So I'll make sure to leave a link to 2bit below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here where you can claim some massive trading bonuses. Like for example, up to $50,000 you can claim using the link below this video just by trading crypto. But if you're not one of these larger traders here, you can also get a $30 sign up bonus and a 20% deposit rebate up to a max of 200 USDT. So for example, if you deposit just $1,000, you get a $200 bonus into your 2bit accounts, but only if you use that link. And in case you're wondering, 2bit is a no KYC exchange, which means you can access it from basically any country in the world without needing any KYC. But as always, check your local regulations when it comes to trading crypto. And for whatever reason, if you don't want 2bit as an exchange, there's also BTNex as another exchange out there that I also trade on. So I'll also make sure to leave a link to BTNex below this video. And if you use that link, you can also get some massive trading bonuses over here. Like for example, up to $45,000 you can claim using the link below this video just by trading crypto on BTNex, and also deposit bonuses. Like for example, if you deposit just $1,000, you get a $200 bonus into your BTNex account. But once again, only if you use that link. So if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, or if you're preparing to take the next trading opportunity, you might as well get set up ready to go using the links below this video to those exchanges if you want to claim those massive bonuses that are only available using those links. And in case you're wondering, BTNex is also a no KYC exchange. But with that being said, taking a look at Ethereum on the daily time frame, and of course, like I said in my last video, Ethereum has already confirmed a break below this very important level of support, which was sitting at close to 2.4k. And so as I've been saying for a while now on the channel, since before we saw the break below 2.4k, I said if we break that level, if we confirm just a candle close below 2.4k, in that situation, expect a continued dump in the price down towards roughly 2.1k, and then expect support around 2.1k. And obviously, the moment we broke below 2.4k, that is exactly what ultimately played out as expected. We continued a dump down towards around 2.1k, and then almost exactly at 2.1k, we bounced from that precise level of support that I've been targeting for weeks. And so once again, around 2.1k, give or take, that is the key support to focus on right now. But if we actually break below that level, in that situation, what could happen next? And well, if that happens, ultimately I'd expect a continued dump down towards roughly 1.8k as the next key point of support if we first confirm a break below 2.1k. But remember, for now, 2.1k is still currently acting as support, and that is the level that we need to pay attention to. And if we were to see a little bit more of a short-term bounce here, in that situation, I would expect strong resistance at around 2.4k based on previous significant supports flipping into new significant resistance at roughly 2.4k once again. And of course, in terms of the price structure here, we're clearly moving in the bearish direction. We've broken below a very important level of support, which is bearish price structure when it comes to the momentum or the trend on the daily time frame. And if we're taking a look at this daily Ethereum price chart, of course, the bearish divergence that I've been warning about since all the way back up here is still perfectly playing out in the form of course, a pullback in the price, because usually a bearish divergence plays out in the form of a pullback or at best a bit of sideways price action. So basically lacking bullish momentum. We should not be expecting any significant bullish momentum anytime soon, as I've been saying every day for the last 2 weeks now since all the way back up here. And so yes, we can see the occasional green daily candle close like this, but ultimately when it comes to the trend, the momentum in the market, it is still pointing in the bearish direction. And if we're taking a look at the price of Solana on the daily time frame, it's a similar situation for Solana. Obviously, like I've been saying over the last few days, we've already confirmed a break below this previous very important area of support, which was sitting at around 143 to 146. So the moment we confirm that first little daily candle close below 143, that was the signal that we were massively flipping again in the bearish direction and targeting the next significant support sitting at roughly around 124 to 125. And so far, we've bounced from pretty much within $1 from 125. And so obviously that price target pretty much played out exactly as I've been predicting since before the break. I said, if we first confirm the break below 143, at that point onwards, continue to expect a dump down towards roughly 125. And so far, once again, we've bounced from pretty much around 125 to 126. So that is the key support to focus on right now. But if we were to break below that support, breaking below 124 to 126, give or take, in that situation, expect a continued dump down towards roughly $105. So close to $100 would be the next major price target if we first break below this level. And if we were to see a little bit more of a bounce in the short term, of course, I'd expect strong resistance based on this previous significant support flipping into new resistance in between 143 to 146, acting as strong resistance now. And in terms of the trend and the momentum, the price structure for the price of Solana, clearly we are trending in the bearish direction on the daily time frame. So overall, yes, we could see little bounces here and there from support levels in the short term, but when it comes to what we should be expecting potentially for the next few weeks or possibly months, overall, we're still pointing in the bearish direction. And if we're taking a look at the price of XRP on the daily time frame, it's a similar situation for XRP. Obviously, the moment we broke below around $2.05 to $2.10, that area of support right there, like I've been saying since before the break to the downside, I said if we break below that area of support, especially below $2.05, in that situation, expect a continued dump in the price of XRP down towards around 192 to 195, give or take, and then expect some support around there. And obviously, that has exactly played out as predicted. We dumped exactly into that area and bounced from that area of support. And so obviously continue to expect a lot of support in that exact area that I've already been saying over and over again here on the channel. But if we were to actually see a break below that area, so if, for example, we confirmed a daily candle close below around 192, and especially confirming a break below $1.90, in that situation, would likely see a continued dump in the price of XRP down towards around $1.79 to $1.80 as the next major point of support, the next major price target. And so just for example, if we're measuring that move from roughly $1.92, give or take, to that next price target at around $1.80, give or take, that's around a 6% move towards the downside. So even with that little move right there between those support levels, for example, with a 10x leverage shorts position, that could be potentially a quick 60% profit in that example. As always, not financial advice. I'm just pointing out potential opportunities, how we can make money in the market even during a bearish move. But once again, as I've been saying many times, the support to focus on currently is in between $1.92 to $1.95, give or take. And as for resistance, I'd now expect a lot of resistance at roughly around $2.07, really in between $2.05 to $2.10 as the current significant area of resistance to focus on. And clearly, when it comes to the trend, the momentum, the price structure for the daily time frame for the price of XRP, we're clearly pointing in the bearish direction, trending in the bearish direction. So overall, yes, we can see little bounces from support levels, but technically, once again, we're still within this trend on the daily time frame in the bearish direction, the bearish trend. And if we're taking a look at the price of Chainlink on the daily time frame, obviously it's a similar situation for Chainlink because currently we've already confirmed a break below this previous significant level of support, which was sitting at around $12.80. So the moment we confirm that break below $12.80, of course, we did have some short-term support at around $12.20 to $12.10, but we've already broken below that support. So ultimately, the next major price target that I've been saying for a long time now on the channel is in between $10 to $11. So just below $11 as the next major price target. And already we've just bounced from around $10.90 in that area that I've been targeting for a long time now on the channel. And so when the price of Chainlink was back above $13, when I was talking about how if we break below $12.80, expect a move continued below $11. Expect a dump below $11 if we break below $12.80. When I was saying that back when the price was at $13 to $14, a lot of people here on the channel were saying there's no way that could possibly happen. There's no way Chainlink could ever go below $11 again. But now that has happened. Obviously, we've now hit below $11, which is something that I've been warning about for a long time. Basically, the moment we broke below $12.80, that was the activation of that warning signal, the activation of the price target. And so just for example, if you shorted that move towards the downside, let's just say you opened a short position once we confirmed a break below $12.80, so at around $12.50, give or take, if you opened a short around there and then closed a short position at roughly around $11, that was around a 12% move towards the downside with no leverage, or for example, with a 10x leverage shorts position, that would be more than a 100% profit, doubling your money in that example. And so once again, that was just another example that I'm pointing out how you can actually profit easily in the crypto market very quickly, making a lot of easy, quick profits in the crypto market during bearish price action when everyone else is losing money. All you need to know to make money in crypto is simply a good entry and exit for a trade. It doesn't have to be in the bullish direction or the bearish direction. It could be either direction. You just have to know roughly where you want to enter and where you want to exit. But for now, of course, we are finding a lot of support at roughly around $10.90, especially based on these previous daily candle closes at pretty much exactly exactly $10.90. So continue to expect support now at around $10.90, just below $11. But of course, if we break below $10.90 now, in that situation, expect a continued retest of these previous lows that we set back in April this year at closer towards $10. And as for resistance, I'll now expect resistance at around $12.10 to $12.20, and of course significant resistance at around $12.80 if we actually make it back up there. But remember, despite seeing short-term bounces along the way towards the downside, overall we're still in a bearish trend, forming bearish price structure, lower highs, lower lows, breaking below key support. That is all price structure pointing in the bearish direction. But remember, if you want to get set up ready to go to take these trading opportunities in the price of any crypto, no matter what direction the price is going, make sure to get set up ready to go using the links below this video to those exchanges if you want to claim those massive bonuses that are only available using those links. And if you want to actually know how you can trade these moves in the price of any crypto, no matter what the price is doing, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.